how was that $200 billion given out? 84% went to the industries of cotton, wheat, soy, corn, or rice. 84%. 15% went to dairy and livestock. 15. 1% went to fruits and veggies. So the healthiest things that we should be feeding our children, the healthiest things that we should be eating ourselves, doesn't get any money. Too many times as entrepreneurs, ignore what's happening in the political world because we don't want to get dragged down into the mess. But more today than ever before, we need to have a voice. Otherwise, we're going to be left behind. I started Lurn exactly for this reason. So starting today with Freedom Friday, let me be your voice. What's up, you crazy fighting entrepreneurs? Welcome back to another episode of Freedom Friday. This is your host, your favorite person in the whole wide world, Anik Singal. And today, I want to talk about something that's just stupid and just makes no sense to me. It just makes zero sense to me. Upsets me. I don't know how to solve it. I don't know what to do about it, except to draw awareness about it and then think about it and meditate on it. And hopefully I'll be able to contribute some support to it. I'm borrowing all of my data today from a great documentary I want every one of you to go buy and support called A Place at the Table. It's made by Food Inc. It's called A Place at the Table. Go grab it. I do not mean to disrespect them by borrowing their data today. I only intend to promote them. But I did pull some of the golden nuggets out because it's that shocking. Before we go there, come on. Are you a member of Lurn.com? You got to get over to LURN.com and join us entrepreneurs. I'm going to put 10 million entrepreneurs into this platform, connect us from all over the world so that we can go out there, support one another, make our dreams come true, and change the world, save the world, impact the world, disrupt different industries. But it's a free membership. So go to LURN.com right now and sign up for your absolutely free membership and make sure you're part of the movement and not just watching it move right by you. Okay, so today, why are 50 million people in the United States, not the world, in the United States, food insecure? I really just feel like that's another way of saying starving. Some fancy term some politician probably came up with. Just to give you an idea, we have a little over 300 million people in the United States. We are said to be the richest, most prosperous, best country in the world. And nearly 20% of our population is hungry. And yet we spend hours, months, weeks, years just fighting like cats and dogs about what to do for illegal immigrants, right? Or if I call them illegal aliens, New York might fine me $250,000. Or what to do about people who don't belong here, or how to treat criminals, or all of these people, when in this movie, A Place at the Table, proves that 1 in 2 children in the United States of America will at some point in their life rely on assistance programs for food. I'm sorry, how are we the richest country in the world again? How are we the most prosperous country? How are we the country where people come to make their dreams come true? Let me just say something real quick. I love America. So don't take this as any knock on the country. I am not on that train of saying bad things about America. I love America. This is a place where dreams come true. My dreams came true. This country has nurtured me. I might be Indian by descent, but I bleed red, white, and blue. I love this place, but I'm offended because I don't think that 20% of my fellow citizens should be hungry. I just don't. And a lot of people might blame the rich for that. I blame the government for that. And again, now that very government officials, they are impacted and manipulated by lobbyist groups, which I guess one could say are controlled by the rich. But hey, listen, I'm considered into the top 1% of the wealthy of this country, and I take no joy, and neither will I ever take a dime off of someone's plate who needs food. I'm happy to do my part. I'm happy to pay higher taxes if that means food. If that means this problem gets solved, the problem is it doesn't get solved. And I'm going to prove to you here why it doesn't. That money, when you tax me heavier, doesn't go to the people who need it. It goes to stupid places that only add more problems. So let me go through the problems. You might be saying, well, Anik, we have a food stamp program. We have food assistance programs in America. How in the world could 50 million people be food insecure? Well, the average food stamp benefit is $3 a day per person. Have you tried to live on $3 a day? Do you know what an apple costs? Because it's going to take up like a third of your budget. Okay, $3 a day is nothing. The other problem here is a family of 3 with an income of above even a dollar above $24,000 a year. You don't qualify for food stamps. $24,000 a year is not a lot of money. Now, I got to tell you, I have been in grocery lines before where there are people paying with food stamps and they've got a Prada purse, an iPhone, like 4 kids. And I've always looked at that and been like, what the heck? But then you kind of peel back the layers and you realize that they are using the system corruptly because they are working, they are making money, but they do most of their trade in cash. So they're able to still go and declare less than $24,000 income. And so they qualify for food stamps. That's a separate topic for a separate episode. But just to let you know, like to actually get food stamps on the right up and up, you got to be really poor, right? 1 in 6 Americans don't have enough to eat. That doesn't mean they're necessarily food insecure. They just don't have enough to eat. But then 50, so like 1 in 5 are food insecure. Why? Okay, so listen, this is a crazy statistic. In 1980, the obesity epidemic began in America. 1980. There's a graph that this movie shows you, A Place at the Table, that shows you the cost of processed food. That goes like this. If you're watching on YouTube, I'm basically doing an angle down. If you're listening to me, I'm doing an arm gesture that shows going down. The cost of processed food has taken a massive dive down since 1980. The epidemic of obesity has literally proportionally had the opposite, gone up. Makes sense. We are making starchy, processed, carbohydrate-driven processed food cheaper, giving that out to people more, encouraging them to buy more of that, eat that nonsense. They're getting fatter and fatter and more unhealthy. As a matter of fact, the movie proves that the cost of food insecurity to the American government is $167 billion a year in healthcare, in just lost wages, unemployment, just all kinds of stuff, right? So you got this, so now you start to see what's going on here. Why is the cost of processed food going down? Well, since 1995, that's a little over 20 years, the USDA has spent over $200 billion on farming subsidies. That's a lot of money. Why are we having food issues? By the way, we don't have food issues. We have plenty of food in this country. We have a food distribution issue. So $200 billion. But this is a crazy part. See, there's something, I didn't know this. There's something called mega farming business. 70% of that $200 billion went to 10% of the farming industry. Mostly all controlled by large corporations and mega farming institutions. Who, guess what? You don't really got mega farming in apples and pears and carrots. Mega farming is typically in cotton, wheat, soy, corn, rice. Happens to be, what is it? Corn, rice, wheat, soy. Is that not the ingredients of processed foods? So most of our $200 billion are going to mega farms, these corporations that are in the business of doing farming that contributes to the cost of processed foods. So no wonder the cost of processed foods are plummeting. All the government subsidies are going towards those. So then there was this chart, which I literally wrote this. I drew this chart and I wrote next to it, holy moly, because it shocked me. It was, how was that $200 billion given out? 84% went to the industries of cotton, wheat, soy, corn, or rice. 84%. 15% went to dairy and livestock. 15. 1% went to fruits and veggies. So the healthiest things that we should be feeding our children, the healthiest things that we should be eating ourselves, doesn't get any money because they don't have political clout. They're not run by mega businesses. They're run by local farmers. They don't have lobbying. So they don't get any of the money. There was a particular example given in the movie. There's a town called Jonestown that has 3 grocery stores. But are you ready for this? This is going to lead to the next topic that completely appalled me. I had no idea this existed. This has 3 grocery stores in a small town. That's good, right? 3 grocery stores in a small town. Not a single one of them offers fruits and vegetables. Can you believe that? So the only thing you can buy there are crackers, chips, cookies, processed foods, cup of noodles, stuff like that. You actually cannot buy fruits and vegetables. They don't exist. The residents of these towns have to take a bus, drive out. In many cases, it'll take them an hour to get to the grocery store that actually offers fruits and vegetables. And even when they get there, they can't afford them. Their budget doesn't allow them to get fruits and vegetables. So they do actually lean on feeding their children canned foods, SpaghettiOs, cup of noodles, and all of that nonsense. Processed food. There's an actual term for this. It's called food deserts. There's food deserts in our freaking richest country in the world. There's food deserts. 23.5 million Americans live in something called a food desert. What's a food desert? A food desert, I told you, right? We don't have a food problem in this country. We have plenty of food. Plenty of food. We have a distribution problem. We have a transportation problem. And the crazy part is 75% of food deserts are in the urban cities. How? You know what? It's because the transportation cost of getting food into that location is so expensive. The trucks and all, they just don't go. The cost is so expensive, it would rise the cost of that already expensive fruits and vegetables to such a degree that it would be useless. It would rot in those grocery stores. No one would buy it. No one could afford it. So they just don't bother. They just don't go there. Hence creating food deserts. Hence people living in those areas, they can't afford to move out. They don't have enough money. They can't get closer to the good food. So they live in these areas by default, by nature, by need. And they actually physically cannot access fruits and vegetables. Food desert. It's absolutely crazy. Children 1 and 2 need assistance programs. Our school lunch programs are just dying down. They don't have enough. I'm not an entitlement person. I don't like giving out stuff, but I can tell you this. We got plenty of money to solve this problem. I'm just looking at the notes right now. We got plenty of money to solve this problem. Come on, government. Come on, leaders. You are not distributing it properly. Stop giving it to the mega businesses that don't need it anyways. Why don't we let the cost of processed food go up a little bit and give some of that savings and drop the cost of fruits and vegetables? And hey, government, if you want to take billions of dollars rather than bleeding them outside in foreign aid to every other country, how about you build and subsidize transportation? So pay the truckers to get that food into these food deserts to help these children who are growing up in these places and are having actual illnesses, mental problems because they're not getting properly nourished. Hence putting those people that live in those towns in a perpetual cycle of poverty and decline. So instead of giving billions of dollars to third nations, to other parties, other nations, and worrying about what we do with the illegal immigrants, let's take care of what we do with people that are already in this country, 50 million people that don't have enough food, that you've got billions of dollars sitting at your desk, leadership. Subsidize the right things, give it to the right people, give it to the transportation. But you know what? You're going to have to turn your backs on the lobbyists there. You're going to have to risk the campaign money that you're getting. Hope you decide to do the right thing. Check this out. In 1980, there were 200 food banks in the United States. 1980. That's right around the time I was born. I was born in 83. So 1980, 200 food banks in the whole of the United States. We actually didn't have a problem then. The government back then had actually solved the food problem. There was actually a period in time where we almost did not have a food problem in this country because there was a dedicated effort by the leadership to solve it. 1980, 200 food banks in the United States. That's nothing, man. That's like 4 per state. That's awesome. That's winning. Today, 40,000. And I could speak for this because my wife is busy every week. She serves at them and we're blessed to do it. I love the fact that we could support them, but holy crap, I can't support 40,000 food banks. But our government's got billions of dollars they're just giving away to mega farming businesses to stop it. Seriously, it's ridiculous. It's disgusting. So this sucks. We are not the richest country if 50 million of our residents are hungry. The thing, though, is we are the richest country. We do have so much money. We do have so much prosperity. We have such smart people. We have good people. We have giving people. But that money somehow gets to the government and just gets so misused. So please, allocate it appropriately to solve problems, not get reelected. That's my message for the day. And I promise to draw as much awareness about this as possible and to, in time, come up with something that is a solution. I feel like I'm being led towards this. Like I said, I say this, right? Entrepreneurs disrupt industries and solve problems. This one particularly irks me. I do a lot of work outside of the United States. We work in India. We work in East Africa. We have some work in Nepal. there's a project that we need to take over in this country. But I like to empower organizations that could be self-perpetual, meaning I don't have to keep giving so I have to think through a solution. How do we entrepreneurially solve this problem? There should be no food deserts in this country. That's the first problem. There should be no food deserts. And all fruits and vegetable farmers should be getting far better taken care of. So perhaps the first entrepreneurial venture here is to give those farmers a voice. So maybe we put a bunch of money into lobbying for them and fight up against these mega farming businesses. I don't know. Do you have a solution? Please comment below if you're watching on YouTube. I'm ready. I'm watching. I'm happy to take on this problem. This is sucks. We should not have this. 1 in 2 children should not at some point in their life be on a food assistance program. That is not cool. That is not good. That's not putting us in the right track. We're going to get blown away by every other country if this is the track we remain on. So come on. All right. Now, this isn't just an American problem, by the way. This problem exists in almost all countries. I just had the data for America. So there you go. Leave me a comment right now if you're watching on YouTube. Click subscribe, click the thumbs up icon, click the bell icon. I look forward to hearing more from you. Leave me that comment. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, make sure you hit subscribe and make sure you leave us a great review. Listen, I look forward to hearing more from you. Come on, entrepreneurs, let's stick together and let's bring solutions to these problems in the world. Join us at lurn.com, LURN.com. Show notes at anikpodcast.com. Make sure you go rent, pay, and support this movie, A Place at the Table by Food Inc. An amazing movie. Go learn more about it. This is Anik reminding you, when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. I will see you inside Lurn, and I'll see you on the next episode. And until then, come on, entrepreneurs, go out there and fight for your dreams.
Thanks for listening to The Fighting Entrepreneur with your host, Anik Singal.